I want to ask you a question because like we actually got this question because I don't know. I think maybe they're taking it a little bit too literal. I'm not sure, but I remember we got this question for you or about this stream when you talked about this subject last time about like, well, hey, I'm invested in Pulse Chain, I'm invested in PulseX. Why the hell would I cash out of those to go back to USD? There were some people that said specifically, so like, are you advocating for like not selling anything at the top of the bull market or potentially riding something back down? I don't think this is going to happen with Pulse Chain or PulseX necessarily, but we saw EHEX, which is a unique scenario, go down over 99%. So people are like, are you really going to like bag hold that all the way down? Now, Frank and other investors also may be in like certain different positions than other investors that may have like their life savings in crypto and like not much else, or maybe don't make a lot of money at their day job or something like that. But it brings us to a couple points. Like number one, if you would answer that person's question that I remember reading from last time, but also I think you tweeted also, Frank, about like DeFi protocols like the Earn protocol and stuff like that, and ways to earn on a stable coin, or if somebody for whatever reason did want to go into USD in a bear market. So I know I'm kind of throwing a lot at you, but we did get that question I remember last time. So if you can kind of clarify that or help that person help that person understand a little bit more about like you're not necessarily wanting to cash out into USD, but you also don't want to ride something down, 95% also, if you may have the foresight that may happen. So what are some of your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of comments on that too. And maybe I can only speak to a certain type of audience, people who are probably in similar financial positions that I am. Um, my position in the real world is I have a job, it pays me very, very well. I can sustain myself. I don't need my investments. I don't need that.
Mm.
Um, if you're an individual who works at McDonald's and is making 20,000, 25,000 a year,
That's
you're
everybody
not,
in the chat right now, by the way. I just want to,
yeah,
that is
yeah.
like,
I mean, and I'm gonna call you out. Like if that's you and you don't have plans to have a career or a business, and you're looking at this for your exit, I can't help you. That's a gambler. You might as well go to Vegas because I that's not my level of, my world is go get a job, 401k, 30 years out. You work your way up the corporate ladder. Somewhere along that line, maybe you want to start a business. That business produce more than your job. Cool. Very formal. That's the audience that I speak to. People who have a decent level of income or who are heading in that direction. All these individuals who want to skip that aspect of life, that's a delusional mindset. I can't help you. Because in life, you have to work, whether it's through a W-2, whether it's through a business. You have to give value to the economy so you can extract money from that same economy. If you want to skip that component, skip 10, 15 years, you are a delusional gambler. I can't help you. Nobody in this chat has gone through life not working, trying to find that golden ticket. And if you think you're so entitled and special, thinking that you're going to be the one that deserves that, I got some news for you. You're not going to. All right. So I can only speak on people who understand that in life you have to give value to the world so you can extract money from that. And then what you do with that money once it's in your hands, that's up to you. But you should always be trying to aim and increasing your income, increasing that, whether that's through your job or from your business. And you increase your income by giving more value to the world. Because when you are extracting more, that means you have taken market share from someone else. If it's in your job, you got paid more, it's because you gave more value than the person who was competing for that same promotion. In a business, you're not creating something new. All you're doing is fighting to take market share from your competitors. So that's how you extrapolate money from the system. If you want to skip that 10, 15-year journey, don't listen to me. I don't know who you are. I'm not your guy for that, right? I speak on the people who have an income, who understand that in life you have to give value to extract it. And then what you do with that money once you extract it is how you escape the system that you're placed in to begin with. Right. So to go back to answer the question is, they tell me all the time, oh, aren't you going to cash out at the top? First of all, if I was that fantastic of a trader, I wouldn't be worried. Right. So if I knew that, I would have been retired from stocks long ago.
Yeah.
Right. It's not that simple. Okay. I would have retired on FX. I would have retired on leverage trading. I would if I knew I was that good of a trader, and I've been trading for 5 years prior to this, and I was never very successful at it. If I knew that I can do that, I would do that. That's first thing. Two, even if I could time the perfect top, there's not enough liquidity, I can assure you, for me to extrapolate my whole bag without taking a massive hit. So I'm going to take a 30, 40, 50% haircut for what? To go back to worthless paper? So I lose half my net worth on slippage just to go back to paper. That sounds fantastic. I'm not doing that, right? So if that's why I say, like, have a job, have an income that provides your lifestyle. And if I need it, maybe I have a big purchase that I want to pay for in cash, and I don't want to go to traditional lending protocols. An example would be, I want to buy a $500,000 house, and instead of going to a bank to get a mortgage, I'll go to the earn protocol, extract 500 cash, and then with the same income that I was going to pay off my mortgage, now I'm just paying it off at zero interest, no terms, at my own time schedule. So I'm not the guy that's going to tell you, hey, this is your golden ticket. You don't have to work the rest of your life. You don't have to do. There's other people for that. That's not the audience that I speak to. I think that's a very delusional audience. I think that's very unrealistic. People who don't want to work a day in their life. Even YouTubers, like K4K, Matthew, Matt, Crypto Coffee, all these people, they make money by creating content, selling things of value, and extracting from the system. But even though they're retired, even though they were Hex OGs, they still have to create value so they can extract money from the economy. So even retired people have to continue to make an effort to generate an income. So all these individuals who think that they're entitled to skipping that aspect, when you're a brokey and there's people who are millionaires who still have to work, I think that's a very entitled mindset. So part two to that would be, again, I don't want to take a hit on slippage. I don't want to have to live this fairy tale where I never have to work a day in my life. I think that's very miserable. Yeah. I don't, and I'm not a good trader. I don't know when the top is going to be. So all those things, it just makes it easier for me. If I take a 10-year perspective, yes, I'm going to take a 90% hit on my net worth. Did I need that money? No, I didn't need that money. So I don't really care. But then it's going to recover. And as I'm making more money from my job, I'm injecting more capital on those dips. That's who I speak to. Realistic individuals who have a wage job, who understand, yes, work is a part of life, but it doesn't mean you have to be there forever. Right?
Well said. And I like your point too, and keep that question up, Ewok. Yeah, because I think that's a great place to go next. I just wanted to comment and say, like, I think a lot of people have that dream. You know, it's funny, Frank, because you're not, as you've mentioned, and, you know, probably best for your mental health too. You're not like the most vocal guy on Twitter, certainly compared to like some of the people within the Pulse Chain ecosystem that may be constantly tweeting and stuff like that, or constantly talking about 10,000 X's all the time and stuff. But you do seem to get kind of a like, do you actually have a plan for all this? Or is this just kind of like, oh, give me my 10,000 X and I don't really care about these real DeFi principles or anything. Just why won't the price go up yet? And not to go back to what we were talking about earlier, but I think that is just so prevalent. And there's not a lot of people who, like you have said, understand what we have here, have that long-term vision, and really want to continue to add value to the world, even after they may have gotten their riches. Like Crypto Coffee, great example. Guy doesn't have to do anything, doesn't have to do any of this stuff at all, and is always the first person to have out like a new tutorial on a new protocol or a new platform that has come out and just kills it all the time. So yeah, well said.
And I will add to that too. Most of those people that are looking for those type of gains, they will end up broke again. And that's the problem. Unfortunately, the ones with that lottery ticket mentality, they want to cash out. They'll end up back in the same spot as they were right before it happened again, and then they'll end up looking for it all over again. So it'll be very unfulfilling for them. It sucks. It's very cyclical, but it is the degen mentality.
Okay. There's a few things I want to touch on. That question, as far as I'm gonna put it very, very simple. Supply and demand, macroeconomics. You have increase in demand, you have the reduction in supply, and then price goes up. You over a long enough time period, math is always going to be math. And macroeconomics and the basic principles of macroeconomics are always going to be there. So let's take things that are never going to change, at least in the near lifetime. The US, as far as right now, is going to continue to print more money. That's always going to happen because they're backing that printing with the US military. So they're going to maintain that power. And the people at the top, they benefit from all that printing because their assets appreciate. All their stocks, all their real estate, it goes up in value. They don't want to give that up. So the people at the bottom is the one that's hurting because now the price of eggs goes up 3 times, right? They don't care about that. Their assets are going up 4 or 5 times. So printing is always going to be there. You have increase in money supply. Then you have PulseX that has a constant buy and burn, which is constant reduction in supply. So you increase the money supply into an asset that is being deflationary every single day. On the basic rules of economics, when you have a reduction in supply and an increase in supply, price goes up. That's all I'm going to say about that. So the question that you have to ask yourself is, do you see over the next 5 to 10 years a possibility, more of a probability that the volume in Pulse chain is going to go up, or do you think it's going to die down? If you think it's going to die down, you're in the wrong place, you're in the wrong community. Why are you thinking 5 to 10 years out? If you think it's going to go up because more adoption, more people are going to come in, lower gas fees, people are going to be able to build, and over the next 5 years, there's going to be more people coming in. Which means more people coming in, which means more money's coming in, and you have constant money printing. So you have constant injection of capital, buying assets that are reducing their supply. That's going to go up. Right? Basic principles of economics. You have to ask that question. What is it? What is your belief based on the research that you've done? Do you believe that we're going to have increase in demand in people? Or do you think that this is going to become a ghost chain and nobody's going to want it in 5 to 10 years? You take your bet.